Thank you, everybody, for coming. I'll just give you a little bit of an update on our program, how things are going, where we're at. We initiated a 6-week program when this school year began and just wrapped up that 6-week program last Friday. Had an award ceremony, kind of treated it as its own season. Was an amazing kind of season for us. I thought we grew a lot. Tyler Stewart, our strength and conditioning coach, had a lot to do with it. Really trained the guys exceptionally hard. Thought we made a lot of progress in several different areas, culturally, physically, and just kind of our value system. I really feel good about the foundation system we put in place. We took the last 4 days off and allowed them to kind of recover, enjoy the work that they put in, and we're starting another 6-week program basically starting today, which will take us up to our first game on November the 11th. This season will obviously be a little bit different, a little bit training style, different team practice settings, different goals, different objectives, and different awards. And then at the end of this 6-week season, we're going to worry about the real season. So right now it's a very kind of short-term vision and philosophy where we're just trying to get better every single day, make this 6 weeks the best it can, continue to improve in certain areas. You know, each player has their own goals. We've had individual meetings with all the players to make sure that they're on their own right journey and hoping that these next 6 weeks are going to be very productive. When that time is up, we'll reassess where we're at, and then we'll kind of build towards our real season. So it's been an exceptional process so far for a lot of our players. I don't really like singling them out, but we've had a lot of young men really grow here, you know, in our culture, in our system, to where I feel really good about what their potential contributions are going to be. Some other young men that are still kind of figuring it out. We all have our own journey, and I'm hopeful that the next 6 weeks, you know, some of those people that are a little behind will get caught up, and the ones that have been doing a very good job will continue to do so. So that's just a little bit about, you know, what we've been doing and where we're going. Obviously, really excited about the Cherry and Silver game tomorrow. It's a great opportunity for us to use and from a basketball perspective, get better, use it as an opportunity for film, for trying some different things, for seeing how we are in certain areas and evaluating ourselves. But it's also a great opportunity to get engaged in the community. Hopefully our student body as well will feel connected. Our campus community will feel connected to our team. And I'm hopeful it's the start of an annual event that will kick off our season with the people on campus feeling as though they're a part of our team. And we'll kind of see where it goes in the future. So that's a little bit about where we're at, tomorrow's game. If any of you guys have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Eligibility and injury-wise, starting off good?
So far, so good. Knock on whatever. You know, we spend a lot of time on injury prevention, doing as many things as we can nutritionally, regeneration-wise, to make sure that we're optimally sound, you know, physically. And so far, the guys we're all healthy, good to go. Eligibility-wise, everybody cleared and eligible. That is eligible outside of Vance and Jaquan.
Coach, you put your finger on one thing. You said you want to improve in certain areas. What would that be? In this middle portion of
Sure.
the practice season, what do you want to focus on?
Yeah, I think we're going to really have to start to get into some finer details. We've put, I think, a really good foundation in place from a work ethic standpoint, from a workload standpoint, from a team camaraderie standpoint. I think it's a very connected group of young men that will play really hard and have the endurance to play that way for 40 minutes. I think what we need to spend time on now is refining our craft, getting good at a lot of details, and hoping that all those things will now be exposed in the elements of the game that we need to be successful in.
You guys obviously have a really interesting mix of newcomers and returning players. Are the returning players taking any more kind of ownership in the leadership, or because there's so many new players, is that not really how it's working?
It's a good question. You know, we talked about this actually last week. I think, you know, the returners maybe don't have any immediate value or have not had as much immediate value as they would ordinarily because I'm new, because we're new. They're learning it with the same curve that maybe others are doing. But I think as we go through this, as we get through preseason, as we get into games, as we go through exams, as we go through a lot of things, I think there's value in having gone through that before. And I think a lot of those veterans, I hope in time, will be able to kind of organically emerge a little bit in whatever ways that they happen to do so. But for now, I think they've been trying to learn and figure things out as much as anybody else has.
You've been trying all these different out-of-the-box kind of new things, new to you, new to them certainly. any of those that you're already realizing aren't working yet? I mean, have you kind of stepped back on any of them?
We have stepped back on yoga. It was becoming pretty time taxing. So at the end of this last 6-week program, we ended that. We ended our strongman competitions, which is some things we were doing, in the strength and conditioning room. We changed some workouts. The end of our last 6-week season, like I said, we had a bit of an award ceremony. We handed out awards for various things. We treated it as basically the end of what was a great run. And today is going to be the tip-off of a new one with a whole new set of demands and a whole new set of principles that we're going to live by for the next 6 weeks.
Coach, I understand that Matt Bell, a newcomer, was signed on and wasn't part of the public tryout. What does he have to bring to the team?
Matt is part of many new young men that are joining our team, and I don't know exactly how much I can comment on Matt at this point. I'd be glad to answer that question in the future, but I don't want to say something that I can't right now.
Okay,
Sorry. Yeah, no, and I understand. I can speak with you after if that's okay.
You going to do another awards type of thing at the conclusion of this next 6-week period?
Yep.
And speaking of unique approaches, a week or so ago you had something new with regard to your tip-off banquet. It's only been a week since. Has that seemed to have served the purpose that you had hoped it would have?
Several. I heard about someone who signed up for 14 season tickets the next day, so that was good to hear. Obviously, some people donated to the program, but those to me were subsidiary effects of just putting on, hopefully, an event that brought a lot of people together. Having Coop come into town was amazing for our program. I think for our players to bring just people around our program that maybe hadn't gotten a chance to know me or know our players, it was maybe an opportunity for them as well. And just trying to grow and build and make Lobo basketball something that potentially can bring people together in a time around this community, around this campus, around whatever you want to say, where there seems to be some division. I'm just trying to kind of present us as the option of, hey, we can all come together on this. And it was a really fun night to have that, and I think anyone that went would have felt the same way. And like I said, the things that come out of it from a season ticket sales standpoint or a donorship standpoint or alumni standpoint, those are great as well.
You mentioned division, and I just wanted to ask you, I'm sure that you're aware that we've had some protests from student athletes at games like homecoming. Do you anticipate that kind of thing in your team? How would you deal with that kind of situation?
That's a great question. I probably knew it was coming. I'm 6 weeks from our first game, so for me to sit here and say what we're going to do or how we're going to do it is very premature. I went through a pretty exhaustive process last year when I was a head coach, and we brought in several people that I thought were going to inform and educate our young men to do whatever it is they felt they wanted to do. And I intended on going through a very similar process this year as well. But it's a very moving, hot topic. The last thing I want to do is say something before I've been able to do enough of my own research and really spend time with our team to where in 6 weeks, we have whatever plan we want to do. The one thing I do know I feel very strongly about is I want to do it as a team. Whatever we're going to do, we're all doing together. There's no division in that regard.
How has the community reacted to you becoming more involved, and then just kind of talk about going to the high schools, the new initiative you're going to be doing?
Yeah, no, we really didn't want to roll too many of those out before the Cherry and Silver game. We were trying to make, the authenticity of that game, Lobothon, the campus community to kind of feel like they were, the main event. But I think with the high school, the first practice being next week, we probably had to get some of that out. And I'm hopeful it's part of just a larger collective group of ideas that are going to come out where, we're just going to connect with the community as best we can. And again, just present ourselves as hopefully an entity where people feel they can come together and not continue to divide in whatever ways we've happened to be doing.
Jeff mentioned that, you got 9 new faces. The awards banquets and that kind of thing, where you award them after the strongman thing, does that help in building some kind of chemistry for 9 guys?
That's the idea. I mean, that's why we've spent so much time on it, and what I kind of mentioned. We've spent as much time on our culture and just putting our value system in place as we have anything else. And part of it's because we have so many new faces and we are trying to implement so many changes. We felt we had to do that before we maybe moved on to some things that now we're going to focus on for the next 6 weeks.
Coach, can you explain, when you say scrimmage, the Cherry Silver game, can you let the public know and let us know what you mean by, is that 2 20-minute halves?
Sure.
You're playing the game, what are you doing?
Yeah, so we are going to have officials, and the plan right now is to play somewhere around a half of real basketball. We obviously don't have very many subs, so I'm a little sensitive to making sure we don't get past the point of diminishing returns for our own program and just kind of having wasted kind of moments out there. And we're also in the midst of kind of going through the specifics of Johnson Gym and maybe what we can and can't do. So the actual itinerary and agenda, I think we're still ironing out. But I know from a basketball standpoint, it will include at least one half of basketball with officials and coaches and us treating it like a real game.
Coach, I understand you've already touched lightly on some of the changes that you're implementing, like some of the traditions that you're doing differently now.
Sure.
Like, you're not doing the how tomorrow instead of you doing a Cherry and Silver scrimmage. But what else is coming up? Other than the practices at the high schools, what other changes have you made that are coming up?
Again, I'm a little sensitive to the game tomorrow and Lobothon, and not necessarily taking away. I don't want all these events to kind of come out and maybe get caught up a little bit with each other and take away from the seriousness of our game tomorrow and the cause that it's for. So I'm hopeful after that we'll kind of roll out some other initiatives and things that will be, for the rest of the community as well.
Obviously, coming into the first season, you want to win. I mean, you showed at Mexico State, you won your first year as head coach. You won at, Canadian national team. So you know a little thing about winning. So far, I know you still got a lot of practice left, but how are you feeling about this team? And do you think, they're showing some winning mentality?
If I hadn't read any of the magazines, I'd feel really, really good. But, a lot of those people don't think we're very good. They don't think I'm very good, and they don't think our players are very good. So, whether those people are right or wrong, I guess we'll find out. But I think internally, amongst our team, we're very quietly confident about what we're going to be able to do. Our chemistry is terrific. Our workload is off the charts. And I feel as though we're going to be better than people think. But maybe those people know more than me. We'll find out.
In the workout the other day, I saw a lot of athletes. Do you have basketball players?
Maybe you know that more than me too. I don't know. We added a lot of shooting and a lot of speed, and that was our goal, to become faster and be able to score more. And I feel there are very few players on our team that can't shoot the three-point shot at a high level. So I feel very good about our ability to shoot the ball this year. And our speed is good and our depth is good. So as long as we adapt to the new style of play and are able to execute it to the best of our abilities, I think we're going to max out this roster to whatever it is we're going to have in it.
It's been a week since the big news in college basketball broke last week. Any trickle down yet that this program has felt? Have you had a conversation with any of your players about the FBI investigation?
None.
Have you had any conversation with the new AD? Has anybody talked to you just to kind of see where the program's at with regard to all that?
No.
Do you plan to have a conversation with anybody, players or anybody?
I don't really think it would be anything that involves us, but I guess if that ever came about, we would. Yeah.
You've got a small roster this year, height-wise, only one guy over 6'9". Is that something that you're worried about at all, or do you think you'll still be able to compete with some of the bigger teams on your schedule?
There's different ways to look at it. All summer, all spring, we identified a lot of different potential recruits to bring here, and there were some players that might have been bigger, but we just didn't feel that they were either good enough or worth using a scholarship on now as opposed to using one later. I think our 2018 class will represent that, but I think this year's team is this year's team. We've got it now. We're going to do everything we can with it, and if that means we're smaller, that also means we're faster, and we're going to use whatever people may perceive as a disadvantage. We'll try and make it an advantage for us.
A lot was made of the marketing last year. Maybe it didn't come up to the coach's standards, but it seems different this year. You see a lot of the commercials of the football games. You guys are getting out in the public. Are you happy with the way this team is being sold and the way it's being advertised in the public?
I've tried to learn from as many coaches as I can over the years across a variety of different sports. The one thing I learned from Reggie Theus, and I never even worked for Reggie Theus, but when I got to New Mexico State, I studied Reggie Theus as much as I could, and his input, interest, enthusiasm for the marketing side of his program and anyone that was around that would tell you he was as invested in the band, the students, the cheer, the attendance as anybody. And I learned that from him at the time. And when I became a head coach last year, it was something I fostered and I've done ever since. And I think it's just a part of coaching, and it's a part of my job. I think different jobs, you maybe have to spend more time on it or less time on it, and how this journey unfolds, what remains to be seen. But when I got here, I realized it was going to be a big part of my job. The support I've gotten from the department's been terrific, and hopefully we'll continue that journey together and market and engage this program with the community as best as we possibly can.
Coach, you mentioned that you wanted veterans to lead. Would Longwood be that point guy that basically has to tell everybody else about this conference and about how to play the game and that kind of thing?
We really don't get too far ahead of ourselves. Our goal right now is for the next 6 weeks, we're all on our own individual programs and a team program where we're just going to try and move our needle as far forward as we possibly can. Within that time, if guys start to emerge, that's great. As I say all that, Sam's obviously going to be a critical piece to what we do. If there's a player that fits our system on our roster better than him, it'd be really hard to find. I look really forward to the season I hope he's going to have. And the reality is we're going to need him to be a very big contributor for us to be successful. At the same time, our team is still in a very forming phase, and just singling guys out I don't think is necessarily appropriate for our overall culture.
New pit floor, what do you think about it? Do you have any influence at all on it?
Awesome. I love the floor. Really glad Larry got involved. We were able to use his expertise. I think it looks neat, professional, slick. It's a good-looking floor. I'm really excited about it.
Coach, you say you don't like to single anybody out. Does that mean you won't have captains then?
That's a good question. It's something I'm still debating. There are going to be captains that have to go see officials before the game begins, and I'm still going over whether we're going to have anointed, voted, none. That's to be determined. To be determined.
Anyone else? I do have a question. My last question is a follow-up to what I had asked earlier. How you're reacting to any maybe people who are not rolling with the flow of changing
Sure.
the tradition. How are you dealing with that?
Yeah, change is difficult, and I'm very sensitive to that. The last thing I would ever want to do is make someone feel as though they're not wanted or I don't respect or value their thoughts or their opinions. My job is to do what's best for the Lobo basketball program, and every decision I make, whether it's to do with a student athlete, a marketing decision, any decision I make, it all comes down to what's best for our team.
What do you tell them? These longtime Lobo fans that aren't ready for
That, unfortunately, I have to do my decisions of what I feel is best for the team. And again, I mean no disrespect, no harm, no ill will to anybody on any platform. We're going to make it a lot of decisions and do a lot of things. Those are the same fans that might be upset about a player that plays in the game or a coaching decision I make. I welcome that criticism. It's part of what comes with this position. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make everybody happy in every decision I make. All I can say, and I hope that fans trust, it's been well thought out, it's been well researched, and a lot of my decisions, I hope, eventually in time, people will respect and say, you know what, he's doing what he thinks is best for Lobo basketball.
I understand most of these decisions have been made on changing some of the tradition on faculty and student involvement, bringing them more back into the picture. Is that true?
Sure. You're referencing Cherry and Silver.
Showing
For sure.
And future
Yes.
events that you change.
The future, every event, I think, will be independent of the next as far as like who we're trying to maybe do something for. I think when you look at the whole conglomerate of it all, I hope people will look back and say, you know what, Lobo basketball did a pretty effective job or at least a well-intended job of trying to reach out to the different parts of this community that either need it the most or we feel need to help bring us together.
All right.
Thank you guys very much.